Hey guys and gals, happy Friday night. I'm going to do a couple of chart requests for you guys on Reddit. So I'm going to start with GFY, and I'm looking at the weekly time frame here where every candlestick represents 1 week of trading. So I'm going to start with I see a downtrend line right around here for GFY, and so we just knocked into it not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, against that downtrend line. And so this downtrend line, what does that mean? That means that the stock is in a downtrend, and you can just easily see that as we're making a high, lower highs, lower highs, lower lows, and another lower high. So this basically just defines what kind of trend we're in on this stock, and so we are in a downtrend on GFY, and there's nothing really you can say otherwise about that. Next, I want to look at the support that we see on GFY, and that's right around about 1470 or so, and you can see that from the bounce that we got here and the several bounces that we saw over here on GFY, as well as just recently right here again, and that was about earlier this year in 2016. So let's look at the daily chart now. So we see this downtrend line still there, the support still there at 1470. And another thing that I'm seeing right here is what could be kind of a bear flag or a rising wedge look here. Same kind of implications. It doesn't really matter what you call it. You don't want to be too technical in your analysis. Okay, so there we go. Alright, so a little bit of a bear flag, reached the downtrend line and then broke out of it. So right near that 1570 area or so, that's a good shorting opportunity in my opinion. And we've also got that resistance up here. There's two resistance levels I'm seeing. So there's one right here, and I'll zoom in so you can see it a little bit. So the highs of these several candles here, and this candle right here, these couple of candles right there. And then if you go a little bit higher, you can see some resistance up here at about $16 from the highs of these several candles right there. And you can easily see that on the chart. So we've got a downtrending stock that also broke out of a bearish pattern here. So more than likely we're going to see continued downside on GFY. Unless that downtrend line is broken and this $16 level is broken, then we can see a nice move to the upside. But until that happens, more than likely we're going to be continuing to the downside, as that's what downtrending stocks do. Next, I'm going to look at OPK, and we're going to look at the weekly chart first. And the first thing that I'm seeing right here is we have a nice uptrend line right here that was actually broken. So same kind of thing that we saw on the last stock, GFY. We had a downtrend line, but that was not broken yet. So this is a nice uptrend line, and we saw a trend line break here, and then we saw a retest of that trend line once, twice, almost got it right there. And now what I also see is some support. We've got a big level here right around 775 or so. You could see on the top end it was resistance, resistance, and then we broke over it, and then it found support there many times. A lot of action around that 775 area. And when the dogs are excited for the charting session we're doing here. So another thing that I'm seeing right here, oh, where was I? Okay, so the when you're looking at support on the weekly time frame, it's important to not be super exact, because you know, all these bounces, you know, sometimes we bounced a little bit below 775 or a little bit above 775, as you can see right here. That was more like 810 for these few candles right there. And this is not just, you know, when I say a few candles, this is, you know, 9 weeks. That's about 3 months of trading right there that bounced from that zone. So another level right here, you know, we saw a bounce from almost down there, about 825 down there. And then as you can see, it breached this level a little bit down here, all the way down to 722. So when you're looking at these support ranges, you want to use, don't be too exact. All right, don't be too exact, because you're going to get unnecessary stop outs, stuff like that. So give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. At least that's the way that I like to do it. Another thing that I want to point out here on this weekly chart for OPK is this resistance here right around 1150. So you can see it was a level over here. We had resistance right there, and then as you can see, we're back below it, and you can see several weeks got rejected. Several weeks up here got rejected again, so that's resistance right there. Another thing that I want to look at, I'm going to switch to the daily time frame, where every candlestick represents 1 day of trading, and I see a downtrend line here that I can draw. Alright, so that's a nice downtrend line. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches on this downtrend line. So that's a really nice downtrend line. It's really respecting that angle. Next, kind of seeing a channel here on OPK. And that channel is right in line with that downtrend line. So the top of the channel is this downtrend line. So it starts right here. 1, 2, 3 touches. On the bottom side, 1, 2, 3 touches. So what do you do with this channel? So you know, if you're a the best way to play it is to short the top of the channel, because we are trending down on a downtrending stock. Okay. The other way that you can do it, and this is a little bit riskier because it is going against the overall trend, but you can also long the stock at the bottom of the channel. And another reason why that's more risky is because the bottom of this channel only has 3 touches, 1, 2, 3. Whereas if you look at the top trend line, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches, and that's the main downtrend line. So honestly, the best place to long it would be if we somehow bounce around this channel all the way down to this big support down here near about 775. So if that bottom of the channel ends up lining up with that 775, that'll be a good bounce zone on OPK. Alright, that's it for OPK. Next I want to look at Chipotle here. Chipotle, first thing that I'm seeing on Chipotle is a downtrend line. I'm not sure exactly where to draw it. That looks about right. Okay, so downtrend line from these highs, the gap down high, I believe that was an earnings announcement right there, or maybe that was the start of the E. coli fiasco. I don't recall, but we've got a touch here, here, a couple touches here. So we're in a downtrend on CMG here, on Chipotle. Another thing that I want to mention here is we are below these lows still about 402.50. So until we significantly break over, and we kind of got to fake out, this Brexit fiasco kind of messed up this chart right here, and that's another thing that you got to be aware of is event risk will, big news like that will definitely overrule any kind of breakout on any chart. So just be aware of that. So we're below that level now with somewhat of a reversal candle here. So until it closes back over there, we're going to be heading lower on Chipotle. If we end up breaking back above that level, we're going to see a touch of that downtrend line, which could get rejected up there. Next I want to look at Visa. And what I'm seeing here on Visa, we're going to look at the weekly chart here. And what I'm seeing on Visa, let me get this right, is a couple things. I've got a pretty nice uptrend line right about there. And I'll zoom in and you can see, so you see the touch over here, and then we'll zoom in and you can see several touches here, here, and here. So that's a ways away, but it is still there and something that you got to be aware of, because if we end up dropping down to it, it could get a bounce at that level. Another thing that I'm seeing here on Visa is also a rising wedge type pattern, and I'll draw the underside of it right there. So we've got several touches right here, and this is also an uptrend line right here. So this is just a plain uptrend line on Visa at the moment. So we've got it right here, got touches here, and we're right at it right now on that weekly chart. And I'm going to draw the top side of this rising wedge right here. Okay, so what makes a rising wedge a rising wedge? Well, you've got a wide bottom like this, and then we just get really narrow at the top, really narrow, compressing, and as you can see, this is several years of compressing, kind of just sideways action, and getting narrower and narrower at the top. And a break outside of that is bearish and would be a confirmation of that rising wedge pattern. Until it breaks out of the rising wedge, the pattern is pretty much meaningless. Okay, you got to see a break outside of that pattern in order for that to have implications. All right, so looking at the daily chart now on Visa, and I see a support here that we broke on Visa, about 76.40 or so, and that's from the lows of these candles right here, and this candle right here. So we broke out of that, and what's also looking like a double top formation right here. So we've got a top here, and then we broke this support down here, and the top of this double top is about 82. The bottom of this double top support is around 76. So the difference between these two levels of support is about $5.50. So about $5, let's just call it $6, just to use some round numbers. All right, so because this was a $6 range, the measured move of this break outside of this double top box is going to be a $6 drop. So that would be a target. So 76 minus about 6, let's call it about 70.50. That matches up with this support right here. You got a touch here, 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 and a few candles right here. So right around 70.50 is going to be that support level for Visa. Notice we're right at this rising wedge. Remember on the weekly time frame when we had it spanned out where you could see it more, we're right at that trend line and the rising wedge. So may want to come up here and retest these levels up here, but most likely going to get rejected as this was a pretty good support and now it is resistance. Next I want to cover just really quick VMRI. You know, this is a penny stock that, you know, this is very hard to chart. Okay, we've got very low volume on this stock. Normally, you know, the volume is, you know, less than 500,000. We're getting more volume recently, but that volume, you know, can dry up anytime. So I don't really have any kind of opinion about this stock right here, just because it is a penny stock and it's very difficult to chart. But as you can see here, we got a lot of sideways trading up in this $2 range, so that is going to be resistance. You know, with penny stocks, you know, you're kind of playing with fire here. You know, and I do some penny stocks, but they're day trades and they're on prettier charts than this one right here. So that's kind of my disclaimer on that right there. So no real opinion, except that I wouldn't really be interested in making any kind of a play on that one. And another penny stock here, you know, 35 cents. Not much to say about this as well. Low volume, and they don't trade the same as the larger cap names, mostly because of the volume, and they don't really create the kind of reliable patterns that you see on some of the bigger names. So so I'm going to skip that one as well, and just wish you good luck. So next I want to cover RUBI. RUBI here on the daily time frame. We've got a downtrend line right here, touch here, several touches here, and right here, and then we broke below this support at about 1360 or so. Now keep in mind this isn't a huge support break, so I'm not going to put a ton of confidence in this support break as far as shorting it right here. If we got another close under this support line, I would definitely be a little more concerned. The next level I'm seeing is about 1180. 1180 is the next support that I'm seeing on RUBI. So if it continues to fall, that's likely where it's headed down there to the 1180 mark. And you can just keep on extending this downtrend line down there, and until it breaks over either that 1360 or this downtrend line, we're likely going to be headed down to that high $11 range. Next, I want to cover Walmart. And Walmart, let's see what I can see here on Walmart. So Walmart has an interesting pattern here. I think I see a rising wedge. So there's the bottom side of that rising wedge. Okay, that works a lot better. Okay, so we've got a rising wedge breakdown right here. So we broke down out of it, and then we came back up, and we're retesting both the underside of the rising wedge and the top side of the rising wedge. So why is this a rising wedge? Well, we've got a touch here, 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 almost there, here, and then we broke through it on this candle right there. And on the top side, we've got a touch here, 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 a bunch of touches right here. And then if you zoom in here, you can see that this is a evening star candlestick formation. And you can Google what that is if you don't know what that is. But this is a evening star candlestick formation right here, and that is bearish. So Walmart likely going to be headed down from here. If we break today's highs, or if we close over today's highs, then that would kind of negate that theory for me that Walmart is going to be headed lower. Another thing that I want to point out here that I'm seeing is some support right around 750, and that's from the lows of all these candles here, 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 and today's low was right there around 750 as well. So if you want to be conservative with it, you can wait for this 750 level to break. If that level ends up breaking, and when I say break, I mean close below it, so a daily close. So 4 p.m. Eastern time, if it is below 750, then that would be a signal to me that Walmart is going to be heading much lower. And there's a gap down here to fill. You can see it gapped all the way up, and there's this big gap to fill down at about $63. Next, I want to cover GOOG, or Google. And the first thing I'm seeing is a downtrend line that I can draw from these highs to right around here. Another thing that I'm seeing right here is a trend line, a smaller trend line that we broke right there. Let me see if I can extend that over here a little bit. No, I can't really do that. So we've got a small little trend line break right here, and then we've got some resistance right here. It was really nice support. Several candles bounced from it. Several candles bounced from it, and then we finally closed below it today. And we've got some pretty major support at about 666. That's an interesting number. And we've got it from the highs of these candles right here, and then the lows of these candles right here, and we're coming up to that level. So likely get some kind of a bounce on the first touch here. Maybe comes down, retests that 666, and then comes back up, retests that 689, and then eventually breaks this support level down there. That's not a prediction, that's just an idea of what might occur, but definitely major resistance now above us on that break of 689. So 689 is definitely a big resistance, and then 666 is that big support that you want to see hold on a closing basis on the daily chart if you are bullish on GOOG. Next, we're going to cover AMPE. Another one that's a penny stock. So these don't have, again, they don't have as reliable of patterns here, but I'm going to take a look at it for you anyways. Excuse me. What I'm seeing here is some resistance here at about 366. You can see we got a bounce from it here, 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 these candles here, and then we finally broke through it. So now that is resistance. We also broke outside of this little box that we had right here. Excuse me. We had some highs over here, and we were trading in this box, and we finally broke out of that box. And that box is about a 60-cent range, so same kind of thing that we were seeing with, what was that stock that we were seeing? Visa, I believe it was, had that double top, and we had that measured move. So this is the same kind of thing with this box play, and this is about 60 cents difference. So a 60-cent drop should be the measured move. We pretty much already hit it because, 60 cents below 366 is 306, and we hit that on this day right here as the low of the day was 308. So we were 2 cents away from that measured move right there. So it's definitely something that you want to be aware of. Next main level I'm seeing is right around 240 or so, and you can call it a little bit lower, around 230 from the highs of these candles right there. I'll just draw it so you can see it. So as you can see from the highs of these candles over here, and then all of these candles right here around 230. So it gets heavy down here, and so this is how support is seen. Okay, when you get sideways trading, that's how support is created. When a stock just kind of goes straight up, there's no support that's created for any moves downward. Okay, that doesn't mean that it can't stop midway. Sometimes stocks decide to stop at a new price level that it hasn't really stopped at before or recently. But as far as drawing those main support levels and not relying on some magic number that you want to throw out there, the main support levels are not until $2.40 to $2. And see these thick, it gets thick in here. A lot of sideways trading for about January to April. That's about 4 months of sideways trading. So if we end up down here we should at least get a short-term bounce from this area down here. So if it ends up going down there, probably a good buying opportunity. Next is TLOG, another penny stock here. This has an OK pattern, but again, penny stock patterns are not as reliable as some of the larger cap names, and I'm going to keep repeating that. But with that said, we do have a nice uptrend line right here, several touches here, almost a touch here, several touches here, here, and we're almost right at it right now. So we should get a bounce here. If we break below this trend line, it's likely going to be headed much lower. We've got resistance up here at 50 cents from these few candles here, here, and from these candles over here. So notice how, I drew 50 cents as the resistance here. Why didn't I draw the resistance up here at about 60 cents? First of all, there is resistance up there from those highs, but the main resistance is around 50 cents, and that's because these stocks they broke over that level intraday, but they ended up closing below that 50-cent level. So that's what you want to look at. Next, I want to look at MSTX. Another one, that we got that's a penny stock here. But I do want to point out, remember that sideways trading that I was talking about that creates that support? Well, it works both ways. So right here, we have a lot of sideways trading up here on MSTX. And you can see that by the volume by price bars right here. These are the volume by price bars. You can see how they get thick up here. And that's just another visual graphic representation of resistance, and volume at price represents exactly what it means, volume at price. So the most volume was traded in this price range between about right where we're at, 0.40 and about 0.55 or so. So we're coming up to some main resistance, and we've also got, I think, a downtrend line here. That we're pretty much right at right now. So we got a touch here, here. I mean, this is a downtrending stock. Here, almost a touch here. Here we've got a touch. Here we've got a touch. Here's a touch. There's a touch. Everybody's got a touch. And right here we have a doji that closed right at that resistance. And if you don't know what a doji is, and I'm going to delete this line so that you can actually see the candlestick. So this is a doji, and a doji is basically when buyers and sellers kind of take a pause up here, and it can be a reversal sign. If you see it at the top of a trend, so we've been trending up kind of all year on this stock, but remember, the overlying trend, the main trend is down, as I noted from the downtrend line before. But as far as the more recent trend, we've been trending up, and you're seeing this doji here at the top of the trend at that downtrend line, so it could be a potential sign of reversal. And just remember the disclaimers that I've been putting out repeatedly on these penny stocks. These patterns are not as reliable on penny stocks. This is a biotech stock, therapeutics in the name. First time I've ever seeing this stock, so I'm assuming it's a biotech stock. It has therapeutics in the name. So, if there's some kind of data coming out or some kind of buyout, something like that, then it'll completely destroy this chart. But as far as the chart stands, major resistance in the way of this stock. We've got a lot of sideways trading in this range. I mean, look at how much sideways trading. This is, a year of sideways trading. Very thick in this range, and a lot of resistance in this area, as well as that downtrend line that I mentioned. Alright, that is the last chart request that I got. Have a good night, and I will see you guys next time.